This video is made for adult collectors because, aw, crap, I misspelled the word blur in the file for this audio recording. I spelled it with a V, not a B. I typed too fast. So yesterday, they just announced that, this, she shows up in pretty much every video. This is a really good metal card bot called Tacky. They just announced a black, gray, and red version of this. What? Okay, fine. I will be buying that because I like this thing, but that deco, oh, that deco is so nice. The fastest Autobot, or sometimes a pile of rust, or sometimes a cube, or sometimes the kind of shitty 86 figure. And people comment on how many times Cliffjumper dies, which actually isn't a lot when you think about it. But we're not here to talk about the red idiot, we're here to talk about the blue idiot, and I have two of them. Starting with their cars, because I couldn't be asked to transform them right now while writing this because it's 11 p.m, but we're going with, he's fast, so car first. I really like the old 2010 Drift. God, we need a new Drift, please. But it looks lovely in blue. The light blue on this other lighter blue. I get what this stripe is going for on the hood to like match the stripe on the roof, but it's a different shade and it looks weird. Oh, and I almost forgot. I just completely went into toys. This video is sponsored by Tokai Toys. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm a watch collector. I used to work at the now dead Hudson's Bay selling them and during college, and I love funky and interesting ones. And they sent over some of their officially licensed Transformers watches. I've had the purple one for like almost a year now. I like them a lot. Leather straps so they don't pull your arm hairs off, stopwatches built in, and glow-in-the-dark hands. They are blind box watches, but you can also just pick the ones you want on their website. You can check them out, link below, and if you use code TG15, you can save 15% off of most items on the site. Thank you very much for sponsoring this video. Now back to the actual toy. The dark blue down the bottom is a nice touch, and the clear inserted headlights, I love that. They also picked out the taillights. It's such a nice, solid car, and it's massive. Big, meaty toy. And then on the flat side, animated Blur. He looks fast. Like if you ask someone to make the shape of Speed, this is kind of what I would want. This is what I would expect. It is pretty paint chipped because I found it in a box at Comic Alley Toys, not sponsored, but a good majority of the paint has still held up over time. I adore the holes in the back wheels. They got that to work while also becoming a foot and still spinning. It works great. There is a massive gap of nothing at the back, which is a wee bit ugly, but also I'm not displaying this thing from the back, so ultimately I don't care. He does have a tongue. Yeah, so he does the Richard Hammond cop car thing where you press a button and it ejects this blade out the front. It's pretty useless, honestly, when you have to crash into someone for it to work, because you'd get the same effect just crashing into someone anyways. Both cars are nice though. They do scream fast to me and look like Blur. Now let's make them look even more like Blur. Robot time. The power went out earlier. So these are very unique in how they get from car to robot, because a lot of times you'd think, you get car formers, and the very generic way they work is hood, chest, door, wings, arms, and legs. But these don't do that, especially this thing, like, it's got some weird unfolding going on in here that's very interesting. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the tailpipe, because that is his sniper, well, one of his tailpipes. He's got three. That is his sniper rifle, so we're just going to take that out. It just clips in under here. Then you want to fold the clip out. I believe that's the same piece as the sword scabbard for Drift. I don't think they changed that. They just made this clip into here. But the next thing we're going to do is unpeg the doors. So you unpeg them from both sides there. They're also pegged in underneath the front of the car, so you just want to shift them down and out just to get them out of the way. Then you take this entire back assembly here and you pull it up, and you're going to unfold it at the hinges in the wheels and bring these down. Then you want to split the legs and fold the feet up and accordion them in, and that's the lower legs done. Now you want to fold these windows in, and these you have to be careful with. I've had two copies of Drift before this, and both of them have cracked here. And the few times I've seen Drift wander into my local shop where I got this guy, I've also seen cracked windows. So you just got to be careful. These hinges are really tight, and you don't want to press like from up here. You want to bend it down here so you don't crack them, but they do crack pretty easily. Once you get those bent, you straighten that out. Then you take this front section here and you want to split it. You want to accordion these pieces in like that, rotate them down. You're going to peg the windshield into place and then extend the arms, and then we'll just plug the sniper rifle into the back. And there you have Blur. That is a very fun transformation to do, even though I don't like those little windshields, but that looks so cool. That looks so cool. Now let's do him. So Blur was pretty easy, right? But Blur here is So the first thing you want to do is you want to take these front sections and split them apart ever so slightly, and then take this and bring that off. The parts forming, yeah, it's his weapon. It's calm down, it's his weapon. It is, however, annoying because when you lose this, you're left with this, and I see a lot of copies of this show up at like Comic Cons and local shops that look like this. It you know, it looks like that. It looks like the Blockies one. So once you've done that, you want to take the legs back here and you want to unpeg them from this panel and then fold this panel down. That reveals his head, and we're just going to rotate his head. Then you want to bring these bits down, so you're unpegging them from the arms, and that way you can take the arms and bring them out because they peg in underneath here as well, and just split them from the legs up front. Then you take the hips and you want to fold them out at this hinge here and then bring them down on both sides. Sometimes they pop off the ball joints, which is a little annoying, but hey, they didn't here, which is great. Then you take the arms, you bring them up and you squeeze them together. They will lock into place. Rotate the arms down and straighten them out, and we'll get to that later. Rotate these around, bring the toes and the heel out on both sides like that. I think you're supposed to leave it like this. That's how I like it anyways. And there you have him. Excuse me, there you have Blurr. And I'm losing my voice. He won't stand. Yeah, old. These are two very different Blurs. One is armored up and a bulky dude with a sniper and 2 pistols, and the other is me, tall and skinny. I'm working on the skinny part. He also has legs made of noodles that I need to fix. I'll do that later. 2010 first. They made him a sniper, and that's awesome. I love how many guns they gave this man. There are 2 hiding in his hips and 1 massive fucking killer on the back. I love how they laid out the colors on the robot mode. It's so close to messy, but it's not. It's like that perfect balance between really nice and pleasing and messy. I like it. The dark blue gloves and the light blue boots look really nice. It is a bit messy in terms of kibble, but the kibble is all intentional. The shoulder pads and the hip skirts with the large boots, that's all part of the design. It's not leftover because we don't have the budget to put it anywhere else. I really wish he had ankle tilts though. It doesn't because of the way that the feet transform. It doesn't really leave room for them, but it severely lacks. It needs those. The rifle does have an extra handle on it that can fold out so we can hold it quote unquote properly. It's a bit awkward, but it works for this. And he has 2 pistols, which is neat, but you can also take them and clip them onto the front of the rifle and make them a bipod. That's epic. I love the new head sculpt with all the angles and the points. It feels very drift, but still carries like its own weight and feels like Blurr as well. Speaking of its own weight, animated Blurr cannot hold up his own weight. He's all points and angles, the wobbly hips aside. He stands very tall, like really tall. The paint on the legs looks a bit weird and the forearms just kind of stops, but the torso paint is done really well. Pretty clean back too. There's just a flap back here, and I'm glad there's no kibble, so it keeps with that like speedy aesthetic. He's not the most articulated thing in the world, even less so than the previous Blurr. No thigh swivels, shoulders that are really weird, and then like no ankle tilts and stuff, which kind of sucks for a character that's supposed to be fast and agile. He moves like a plank of wood. Both of them have posing issues, and like I said, one more so than the other. The 2010 one has a universal joint at the neck, so he can spin around and look up and down. The shoulders are a bit limited because of where the ball joint is located and all the kibble around it, but it does give you a pseudo butterfly joint, which is actually pretty cool. He does have bicep swivels and double jointed elbows, ball joints at the wrist that can rotate and fold inward, which kind of helps him hold the sniper rifle. There is no waist joint. The hip skirts are on ball joints and hinges to get out of the way of the hips so that they can go forward, back, and in and out. You get thigh rotation, a knee bend, and then nothing at the feet. The animated Blurr has a ball joint and a hinge at the neck, so he can look pretty much wherever you'd want. The shoulders don't go out that far, but they can rotate. He does have bicep swivels and a single jointed elbow, no wrist swivel though. There is a waist joint, that was a surprise. The hips are on extremely loose ball joints, no thigh swivels because of how it like folds around for car mode. There is a knee bend and no ankle tilt, but toe tilt. Sort of. They are both cool, but definitely need updates on articulation alone because they are a bit rough in that regard. But even still, they are so fun to mess with. I enjoy transforming them back and forth because they are super unique. Both of them aren't super cheap though. 2010 Blurr isn't as expensive as the animated one, but the animated one can go for $100+. But that's my look at 2 different types of Blurr. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.